Welcome, my conscious family. In this video, I will be calling you out because if you wanted it truly and really so badly, you would get it. This is such a strong message, so if you clicked on this video, I am sure there is something in for you. Stay until the end because I'm about to share a very personal and vulnerable story because I think it's really important to share stories with each other, to share personal stories. I am not here to act like I am a spiritual leader, a coach, or someone who is above someone else, but I'm gonna talk to you as a friend, as a human who did, in a way, crack the code to creating the reality, but most of all in this video, stop suffering and getting the peace, the happiness, the joy that you seek. So when I was 18, I was doing drugs. My parents got divorced, and my father told me that it's my fault that my mother left. I was only 15 years old, so I took upon this guilt on myself. And there were many, many emotions that I couldn't deal with. I didn't know how to deal with the guilt, the shame. I was always the black sheep of my family. I always felt like my hypersensitivity is not good. I am a burden to others. My family doesn't like me. I was skipping school in high school. The kids were bullying me. They were writing songs about me and really being very, very mean to me in elementary school, in high school, to the point where in the fourth grade, I even told my mom that I can't go to school anymore, that I want to finish the year in my house. My first relationship was very toxic. I was 18 years old, and there was also abuse in the relationship. There was a lot of toxicity. Some moments I needed to call the police. It was really really heavy, and I was struggling with alcohol, drugs, and also my partner. So we were in a really toxic relationship. At the age of 18, I was sexually abused by two men for more than a day. It was horrifying, terrifying. I ended up in a psychiatric institution, and they they told me that I have depression, anxiety, panic disorder, and also anorexia. And I was hiding all of this from my family, in order to support to in order to not support them, to keep them safe, because I didn't know how to tell them. I was very ashamed of what was happening. And it was just horrifying. Like my years, the first 20s, like until 25, from the age of 15 until 25, I was just really struggling in life. I really didn't see the point of it all. Everything I saw was the pain. And this is not going to be a negative video. It's going to be actually really positive. So keep watching because it's going to turn around. Okay, I just wanted to share everything with you so you can get the gist of how to shift anything you're going through in life and why I am calling you out. And I remember specifically when I was 23, I was on meds when I was 18 because this literally saved my life at that point. But then in 23, I again started having panics and depression, and all of these mental health issues resurfaced again for me. And I remember I was so sad. Obviously, I was struggling and suffering tremendously. Couldn't sleep, couldn't even watch TV series. Like I was afraid to watch a TV series like Friends. I was afraid of their faces. I was afraid of my own breathing. I was afraid of everything. Like my nervous system was in total shock. And I wanted so badly to be good. I knew that I have two options. One option is that I'm not going to be here because I'm suffering tremendously. And another option is I don't want to live my life like this. There is no way that I am going to live my life like this. And I said to myself, I'm going to do anything that I need to do to become better. When I say struggling, every thought that I have was a negative thought. I was constantly in my head, never relaxed, okay, for a whole year. Couldn't sleep, couldn't do anything. Like, if I was in a public transportation, I would just be like, oh my God, everything is fine. Looking at the people, afraid of my own body, like afraid of everything. And I knew that I want to help myself. I started to go to therapy, first of all, Gestalt psychotherapy. The second, I told my mom, do you know anybody that can help me? And she told me to go to the psychiatrist who is very famous in Serbia. And she told me, just go and, excuse me, guys, confirmation. She told me, just go and talk to him. And first, I needed to see the sociologist. The second person was the psychologist. So, what I needed to do is to explain my situation, everything that I've been through, the abuse, the sexual abuse, everything that I've been through. And I needed to write it on the papers and talk to every person. By the time that I got to this psychiatrist, I was completely drained. I started crying and I was like, please, please, can you help me? I'm not well. And he told me, well, you're a woman and women have very sensitive nervous systems. So, that's that basically. And then the second thing, I was like, okay, but is there a way that you can help me somehow? And he responded, I'm not a wizard. I can't help you like that fast. And I asked him, so what is it that I can do? What can I do to help myself? And he said, you can drink, you can take meds for the rest of your life because you're very sensitive. This is the only way you can live life. And basically telling me that I'm going to stay like that forever. I was crying so much. I went out of the hospital. I fell on the grass and I was sobbing for 2 hours. I was thinking, if this doctor told me that something is deeply not wrong with me, but that I am, in this state that I will forever need to take medications, I just didn't know what to do and how to help myself if the doctor says so. And I remember thinking that day, I have two options. One option is that I'm going to say yes to him, I'm going to suffer my whole life, or I'm going to do something about it. And I wanted it so badly. I wanted so badly to have a one night of sleep. I wanted so badly to have a beautiful life. I wanted to feel good about myself. I wanted to have fun again. I wanted to watch movies. I loved movies. I couldn't go to concerts. I couldn't play music. I was afraid of the music beats. I could only listen to frequencies for a year and I missed myself. I missed my life. I missed everything. And I decided that day that's not going to be my reality. That's not going to be my truth. I don't accept it. And I did everything I could. I bought books about it. I started doing EFT tapping every day for hours sometimes. I started doing yoga for hours. I started doing, even, I'm not religious, but I started, you know, reading the Jesus Christ and Mother Mary and praying to every single one. Like, I started doing everything. I was going already to therapy. I was listening to frequencies, crying, releasing, writing, going to the nature. I was getting out of my comfort zone. I was so afraid. I was at a university at that time, and I was like going there to do exams even though every cell of my body couldn't even leave the house. I was so afraid, but I was doing it anyway. And I was just being so persistent, and I was so eager to just get better. And I was doing it and doing it and doing it, and nothing was changing. Nothing was changing for me for months. And then I woke up one day, and I remember I was in Poland at that time, in Krakow. And I woke up one day and I was thinking, God, I feel better. I feel better. I don't have panic attacks anymore. I don't have depression. I actually see the sun, and I actually believe that my life can be good. I never drank those medications that doctor told me, and I never needed those medications ever since. It's been almost 10 years. And I'm not saying if you have been diagnosed with something, don't take your meds. That's not the point of the video. But I met so many people who are telling me, I want to get better. I don't want to suffer. Or, specifically, I'm talking to the people who suffer, not to those ones who have a beautiful life, but they just want to manifest extra $5,000 a month. I'm not talking to them. I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you who are suffering, who are struggling. You need to want to get better. You need to want it to get better with every cell of your body. It doesn't really matter who is the coach, the priest, the therapist, the healer that you book, and how much you pay them. But you need to want it bad enough. The curiosity, like, what else is there? The same energy I was with the doctor, even though he was shutting me down, he was laughing at me. I swear to you, there was a paper where there was written about my sexual abuse and all the abuse I went through and struggling with addictions. Like, all of my pain was on the paper. And he read it. And even after he knew my pain, he told me that I am a woman and women are weaker and whatnot. He was laughing in my face. So I'm telling you, there is no person stronger than you. There is no one stronger than you. No one can tell you who you are and how capable you are and how powerful you are. You have a connection with God that no one else can take away from you. That is yours. That is yours, and no one else knows you better than you. You can get better. You can get better. You can get better at anything. I promise you. Like, whatever it is that you're struggling, the power is in you. But you need to really want to get better. Some people are struggling for decades and they're like taking some courses there and then, but they don't want to get better. They want to stay the victim. I didn't want to be the victim. And it was so hard. Don't get me wrong, I could start crying right now. I am gonna tell you, it was so effing hard. It was so hard. There were so many days I didn't believe that I'm ever gonna get better. I remember one day I even made peace. I said, it's not getting better. I'm just gonna be like this forever. But I was doing the work every day. I was the little hope that I have, I was doing the work every single day. And I finally got better. And I am doing so good right now. Yes, I do overthink sometimes. Yes, I do sometimes worry. I get nervous. I get in my head. But now I have the tools. I have the faith. And I'm still using all of those tools. I do breath work. I do meditation. Meditation doesn't help when you have panic disorder and you have anxiety, but breath work does help. EFT does help. Maybe some kind of meditations as well. Yoga is tremendously beautiful to help you. But for me, breath work has been life changing. And I have shifted my life. I have proven to that doctor, to myself, and to everyone else that I have the power within to shift my identity, to shift how I see myself, to shift how I resonate, who I resonate with, by connecting with myself and with God. I found my peace within, and I am very grounded. I am very peaceful. I do have worry, as I said. I'm not going to say that I'm always high. No, I'm not. But I have the tools, and I get back to my center after I do my tools. So I'm here to tell you, as a friend, you need to want it bad enough. You need to want it with every cell. You need to be so curious to do the researches, to try every single thing on this earth. You know, when I hear people say, oh, it's not working, you don't want it to work. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry to be calling you out like that, but that's effing truth. People who say, I've tried everything, you didn't try everything. You really didn't try everything. Try everything. I tried therapy, theta healing, Reiki, shamanism. I tried everything on this earth. I even went to church. I prayed to God. I did everything. Do you understand that? Every single thing I did everything. And that is the person who is not giving up. That is someone who really want to get better. So ask yourself after watching this video, do I really want to get better? Or is it easier for me to stay a victim and not get better? Please share this video with anyone who is struggling right now. Please. Please, 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 please. This is very important. It's a very vulnerable video. There is so many things I went through I didn't talk about, but I'm not talking about them, I can even sense when someone is talking about something as a pride. I'm not taking a pride in what happened to me, what I have experienced, nor I am proud of myself for having the strength, of course. But uh, you know, when someone is in the victimhood, they are talking and they want to talk about everything bad happened to them because they are still in the identity of a victim. But that's not the point. The point is you can go through anything in life. I promise you. I promise you. I promise you with the bottom of my heart. You can get through anything. There is no final diagnosis. There is no final anything. You can always shift your subconscious program. You can remember who you are. You can change your state of consciousness. You can connect to the higher power and you can get better. I love you so much, okay? I'm here for you. If you took anything from this video, subscribe. I'm sharing a lot of videos such as this one, powerful, inspirational, motivational, and it means a lot to me that you are here. I love you so much. Stay conscious and remember to have fun.